In this video we'll see how to set up Flux UI dashboard. So I'm on fluxcd.io website, and if we go to the dashboards section, here we have this dashboards in the Flux ecosystem. They have these two solutions, like these two open source projects which are dedicated for developing graphical user interface for Flux. So these are very basic interfaces which we get. If you see here, we get user interfaces of this type. Flux is mainly a command line tool, but these open source projects have been started, and they are working on. So first solution is we have VS Code GitOps tools. So this is available in the Visual Studio Code as an extension, and this is a graphical user interface which we need to set it up. So we'll check these both options. So when we go to Visual Studio Code, what we need to do is we should go to extension and search for GitOps tools for Flux. So I already did it. So when you search for this with this name, you will get this one, and you have to click on install option over here. So once you install on this extension, you will get this icon over here, and if we see this one, we have four options. One is clusters, source, workloads, and documentation. A cluster section show you a list of clusters available in your local OKR, you can say you are working on. Sources are the list of sources attached to Flux CD. I mean the list of sources which Flux is monitoring. Here if you see, we have this repository which we are working on from the beginning, and this is a Flux monitoring which we did in the last video. We have this Flux system for setting up our Flux infra, right? And this is for setting up our Prometheus monitoring stack. So these are the sources, and we have these workloads which apply our changes, right? Customization, this is for this customization takes care of applying changes coming from the Git repository. So if we click, you see you get a lot of details over here, and its status also. Right, so this is how it looks, this solution in Visual Studio Code. For this one, we can check you can install GitOps UI using him release. So it is saying to check this URL, and if we go here in the install section, we need to go into the view GitOps OSS section. Here it is asking to install Flux, which we already have. We did all these setups in our first video. It is here, if it is saying to install the GitOps CLI, so we can use these commands to install in our local. Let me go ahead and do that. So first we have to install this GitOps CLI and deploy using this next step. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just copy everything which is here, and I'll take it in a notepad, and I'll copy one by one. pasted here. Now we'll take the next command. We'll check the version. Okay, so the current version is 0.24.0. okay, now what we'll do is it is saying to clone git repository where Flux has been bootstrapped, so we are already there. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to run this command to create a dashboard. So what I'll do is I'll take this command. So we can create manifest file also, but let us, since this is a basic version of dashboard, I will not keep in our repository. Maybe better we'll copy everything. Oh, I'm not doing it because it is going to, it says danger of like keeping the hash of the password, so I'll keep it simple. I'll give password like test it 1 2 3. This is a dash, this is a password of the dashboard. Now let us run it. So it's running, so I'll pause the video for a while because it is going to take a little bit of time. Once it is done, then we'll go through like what we can check like what it has done. Okay, it seems it has completed very fast. So it has generated all the manifest files related to the dashboard and all the objects, and checking for cluster in the kube config, and it says Flux is already installed, so it has done all the pre-checks up to here, and it has checked whether the Flux CLI has installed or not, and now it started applying all the manifest files. So it did the reconciliation and it says GitOps dashboard is ready. Now we'll see, we'll go to kubectl, since it was doing changes in the Flux system namespace. We'll see, go to get deploy from n Flux system. Okay, in the Flux system namespace we were having only 4 deployment objects. Now this time we have one more deployment object which is related to the Flux dashboard. So now what we'll do is we'll see what it has deployed in Flux system. I have misspelled the cutl. I think I should use the alias. Okay, we have complete. I'll just try to get everything from the Flux system namespace. We have replica sets deployment, we have services, and so we have this GitOps related pod, and we have this service of GitOps which is running as on cluster IP. What we can do is we can change the IP of this service to node port so that we can browse it in our local. What I'll do is cube edit svc. svc is this one, and it is in flux hyphen system namespace. Let us hit the insert button and we'll change it to node port. Right, now we'll get once again everything. Now it has changed to node port of node port. Now we'll get the IP of our cube get nodes hyphen o wide. So we'll take the IP of our node and we can browse it here and we can check the node port IP is this one here. It has assigned this port. Okay, so username is admin, password is the password which we gave was test8.123. Great. So this is how the Flux UI looks like. What do we have in our Flux system? So now we'll start exploring this dashboard. We have set of applications. They are coming from this Flux system namespace, right? And we have these sources. We do not have anything here. Flux runtime, policies, notifications, docs. So these are the set of options we have on the left side. Now we can see what do we have in notifications. In notifications we did the setup of Flux GitHub notification, right? So that's how we are getting all the notifications in our Git repository. So it says the status is ready, right? And we don't have any policies. Flux runtime, it has listed all the controllers which we have in our Flux system namespace. We do not have anything in image automation. Sources, we are as we saw in our VS Code in this extension, in the sources, in all these sources which we saw there, right? We are like using this for monitoring, this for our Nginx application. This is for Prometheus monitoring stack, and this is referred internally in this one, and this is for GitOps UI which we deployed. So these are the set of sources where FluxCD is trying to pull all the declarations. So these are the applications where like we defined customizations, right? Let us say for deploying our Nginx application, we declared this one, this customization. So here it is giving kind of a history, or you can say information, where what it has done. It has alerts, right? And all the Nginx service which we have, and we have one deployment object in that. So it's also giving the events, like reconciliation succeeded 1 minute ago, and we can see graph also here. We can see the complete graph. Okay, so at the top level we have the Git repository, which is referring to our GitHub repository, and when the changes are, when this Git repository is going to pull a manifest file from our GitHub, and this customization is responsible for applying all the changes. So what it is doing, it is like applying these many things. Oh, there is too much here. It has created this service as Nginx service. It has created monitoring. So here in our repository, we have provisioned alert, monitoring, sync, provider, source, and we have declared all these declarations, right? So when customization runs, it is installing everything from deployment to sync. So that is what it is showing up here. So this customization is responsible for all these objects. Okay, so we don't have any dependencies, so it is giving the complete YAML. So it will show whether we have any violation or not. So here we also have an option to sync without sources and suspend. I have not used this, but yeah, we have these options. I think that's it for this video. We have seen the graphical user interfaces options available, Flux UI or GUIs available for us when we work with Flux City. So that's it for this video. In coming videos, we'll keep on exploring Flux. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.